What's up, everybody? This is Casino Royale with Cheese. My name is Shane, and I wanted to have a talk with you guys today because I feel like this channel actually has been around for quite a while, all the way dating back to 2011. There's still a few of you people from back then that kind of know what was going on, but I was going to go over a little history lesson for the guys that are the newcomers, kind of explain what happened in that time span whenever I went off the radar, basically, that entire span of time. So I was going to talk to you guys about that today. So, first of all, you guys that have been around and that are still here, you guys are awesome. I appreciate y'all immensely. Everybody else, maybe not as much. No, I'm just messing with you. So what ended up happening was this channel started back in July of 2011, I believe. I started my first Let's Play. I recorded. That's all I did was Let's Plays back then. Basically, for anybody that doesn't know what that is, all a Let's Play is whenever you record yourself playing a video game or whatever, and some people comment over, they provide some sort of commentary about it, about the game or whatever comes to mind, really. I myself typically would just bullshit about whatever. But the first game I played was Star Wars Shadows of the Empire for the Nintendo 64. And I tended to gravitate toward Star Wars games just because people tended to gravitate toward those. However, I went through eventually and would upgrade my equipment, and I went on to play like PlayStation 3 games and stuff like that. And video gaming, I think, is actually something that would be neat to get back into in this channel. That side note aside. However, what happened was somewhere along the way, looking back at it, I met this woman. It doesn't every story start like that. I met this woman back in 2011, I guess, the end of 2011, through a mutual friend of ours, a woman I worked with at the time, and that she also knew. And so we wound up kind of hitting it off and dating and all that. So in so doing, I'm also making these Let's Plays in the meantime. And me and her had been dating for about a month. And I was working in a company where I was making pretty good money at the time. I had a really nice apartment at the time. My wife would argue that I didn't have enough decoration, but every single guy has that problem. Most do anyway, as far as I'm aware. However, basically, I wound up getting the rug pulled out from under me. I lost my job, and I wound up I didn't have any money saved up or anything, of course, who does? And so it turned into a deal where I cashed in my 401k and all that. And meanwhile, we're dating, I'm looking for jobs, and I didn't find one as quickly as I had expected, and I wasn't making as much money as I expected. In fact, I was making about half as much money as I had been making before, which was unfortunate. And so to save money, basically she proposed that we move in together. In the move, my recording equipment that I had for my PlayStation 3 gets beat up, and that's basically the way that worked out. I wasn't able to record anymore simply because the equipment didn't work, and I didn't have the money to replace it because I wasn't making very good money at the time. Basically how that story goes. Anyway, so we had this place where we were living together, and I don't know at what point, but I decided eventually that I wanted to go ahead and get married. And so I got a ring. I had, a couple grand to throw around from my 401k and all that. So I went ahead and got the ring, proposed, popped the question. We wound up getting married. And what had happened, though, is I was like, well, I'm going to need a job that's going to be a little bit more stable than what I have going on right now. And so the economy was in the crapper at the time, and all that. And I haven't had no discernible skills to speak of, at the time. So I went through and just decided, well, fuck it, I'll just enlist in the military. They're the only fucking corporation that seems to be doing okay right now. Taxes were fucking out of control. So, I wound up enlisting in the Army. And in so doing, I wound up getting stationed in New York, in the start of 2013. And we wound up getting married on January 10th of 2013, which is coming up quick. So anniversary present, mental note. Anyway, where was I with that? Oh, so I went to basic training. I was gone for like 6 months, going to AIT and all that. We got stationed in New York, so then I didn't have time to record because the Army is a big old time suck. You never have time to do anything, So basically, I never had time to fuck with it. And I thought, well, what's the point in buying the equipment if I have no time to fuck with it? And then we wound up having a kid back in 2015, my daughter. She's 4 now. And then, so then I really didn't have time. And so then we had moved back down here after I got out of the military. And I wound up getting a job as a inspector for a natural gas pipeline, and I was making really good money at the time, but I had no interaction with my family whatsoever, hardly, except over the phone, via Skype or whatever. And that was because I was working out of state in Alabama, which I'm in Oklahoma right now. If you didn't notice the hat, I'm still wearing it. Fuck you, I'm gonna wear it anyway, even though we got our asses whooped. Anyway. When I was in Alabama, though, I had no interaction with my family whatsoever. And so that basically ended up with me quitting working with that. Because basically after they get done putting the pipe in the ground, everybody's going to get laid off eventually from the job. And I just wound up not going back out there because I wanted to be with my daughter, wanted to be with my wife and all that. Money's not everything. And so it turned into deal at that point. I wound up going back to school, and I basically went to heating and air school, and then I wound up getting a job installing plumbing because it wound up paying better than any heating and air job that I was going to go work for. And so anyway, what wound up happening after that was I had talked to my buddy when I was working on the natural gas pipeline. And I said, hey, man, we should see about doing a podcast, And me and him kind of had talked about it, and he thought it was a good idea and everything. And nothing ever really kind of came of it until one day he just hit me up out of the blue and said, hey, man, if we're going to do this, we need to do this. We need to quit talking about it and just jump on it, And he went out and bought like a microphone. He was ready to go, and that was Mike. And so anyway, I was like, all right, man, let's do this, And we decided to watch Titanic and seen the podcast from there. However, he was like, man, the best name that we could come up with for a podcast like that would be Casino Royale with Cheese. He's like, it's a movie, it's 2 movie references really, And I thought of we'd kind of tossed around different ideas, and since then I've thought of 1,000 that were way better, But I was like, yeah, man, we could go ahead and do that and make this the podcast channel. And so, boom, I was that in it all the way that I went through and just deleted all my videos. And I didn't realize that a lot of people went through and revisited those because that pissed a lot of people off. And I'm really sorry, you guys. I did not mean to bite the hand that feeds, because nothing's feeding me, but relation to this. But no, I didn't want to piss anybody off. That was not my intention. But unfortunately, those are lost in cyberspace somewhere, man. If they're out there, I don't know where they are. But anyway, we wound up doing the podcast for a while, and we always said that we kind of wanted to do it until it stopped being fun, and unfortunately, I think that that's kind of what it's ended up being. And I know that Mike seemed kind of distracted at points, and there were times when me and him just didn't really seem to be in sync. And there were times when we were on fire, in certain ones. But, it toward the end of whenever we were doing the podcast, it seemed more of like it wasn't the enjoyment we were getting out of it wasn't worth the time that we were spending on it. And so basically that leads to where we are right now. Essentially, got me a camera. I think it's intended to be an underwater camera. I'm not really sure about that, but anyway, so yeah, that's basically where we are at with it. Anyway, I do want to thank you guys again for sticking with me and holding up this whole time. Once again, any updates on the mic channel, I'll let you know. However, I do want to let you know we have coming up here pretty quick. I'm going to do a video that it's going to be kind of in celebration of us having 1,000 subscribers, you know. It's not going to be anything super crazy special, but I kind of wanted to show you something cool. And so I figured you guys might kind of like this. Otherwise, you might be completely uninterested. I have no idea, but I guess we will see next time whenever you join me then. We'll see you then. Bye.